Oh, to be a kid again. To be carefree and have an imagination that runs wild. Don't you wish you could just have fun all day long and not have to worry about your grade in this class? Yeah, so do I, but at some point, we all have to grow up. Hey, but that's okay, because growth means maturity, and maturity means experience. Hi, my name is Daniel Moreno, and today I'll be talking about the way character development and growth is communicated in Nacho Libre. That's right, Nacho Libre.
You gotta be kidding me.
I bet no one thought any scholarly merit could come out of this movie, but today, that's exactly what I'll try to accomplish.
I'm not listening to you, you're crazy.
Nacho Libre is a very cheesy movie full of drama, action, adventure, and crude humor. But aside from all this toilet humor, there is a message that the director tries to communicate to the audience. That is, growth comes from experience, and in order to find out who you are, you have to be willing to go out and do things. And what I want to focus on in this video essay is the director's various comical styles of montage versus its traditional forms as a code to communicate the growth and development of the character of Ignacio in the film Nacho Libre. Through moments of developmental montage, comical use of Irish transitions throughout montages, and finally synchronous montage, the director, Jared Hess, shows the audience how Ignacio grows to realize his identity, and the director wastes no time in trying to show us this. In the opening scene of the film, the director immediately edits the shots in a montage form to introduce the main character of Ignacio, also known as Nacho. This opening style of montage is a very familiar one, as it has been employed in various other films. One traditional style of the developmental montage we are all fondly familiar with is in the Disney Pixar movie Up. Up gives us a prime example of what a developmental montage looks like. We are introduced to the main character from a young age, and in a short sequence of shots, the montage, we see the life of the main character develop up to a certain point in time. And the way we know the character we are watching is the same character throughout the whole montage is through subtle similarities that the director chooses to keep consistent throughout the montage. For example, Mr. Fredrickson's square glasses, square jaw, etc. Now going back to Nacho Libre, the director gives the audience his own take on traditional developmental montage by adding a more comical mood to what is typically a serious way to orient the audience. Jared Hess gives the audience a quick orientation as to what characteristics and personality traits we can expect from Ignacio. For example, in each shot of the opening scene, Ignacio's face is not revealed. All we are able to see are quick snippets of the young Nacho's hands, arms, and body. Jared Hess communicates to us that Nacho is mischievous and solely wishes to express himself freely. And in a very interesting form of juxtaposition, this opening montage suddenly changes. Jared Hess decides to juxtapose two whole montages in one. Let me explain. The beginning showed us a young and free Ignacio playing pretend, but the director quickly brings in the monastery culture into the picture, and we begin to see a montage of discipline and cleansing on Ignacio. This is a unique example of a form of montage Monaco describes in his literary work, The Language of Film. Monaco explains how montage may be specifically used in a way that conveys a third meaning out of two original meanings that are juxtaposed. In other words, two very different sequences with distinct meanings can come together to make a third meaning. This third meaning the director communicates in this opening scene is the beginning of the fight for freedom and identity that Ignacio battles with throughout the film. Another interesting montage scene the director shows us is during Nacho and Esqueleto's first training. The director opens into the scene through the use of an iris transition. This transition form is a very old-fashioned and hardly employed today. It occurs when a circular masking opens or closes a current picture. The interesting thing of the iris transition is that it was first used in cartoons and old silent films. This relationship to cartoons and silent film communicates to the audience that what they are about to see has a comedic value to it. And as depicted by the training montage, Nacho and Esqueleto have no idea what they are doing. The director shows the duo training in strange and bizarre ways, which shows us that Nacho is clearly not qualified or remotely ready to fulfill his dream of becoming a luchador. And to communicate that this excessive comedic tone is coming to an end, the director ends the montage with another iris transition. Therefore, we see that what was in between these two iris transitions was a highly comedic montage of Nacho's ignorant yet hilarious attempt at training. However, Jared Hess does not end his use of the iris transition with this montage. He actually continues to use it throughout his film to amplify the comedic tones in certain scenes. The clearest example is during this montage. After their training, Nacho and Esqueleto feel on top of the world, but in this scene, the director employs iris transitions throughout to show how the two characters are way in over their heads. Nacho and Esqueleto are being beat up left and right by professional wrestlers, and the director switches from wrestling fight to wrestling fight with iris transitions to go back to the excessive comedic tone previously mentioned. The connection to comedy and laughable content that the audience gives to the editing transition further works to communicate that Nacho is more of a laughingstock than someone who should be respected and admired.
Sucks to be me right now.
Finally, Jared Hess uses Nacho's final wrestling fight montage as a way to depict and amplify the idea that Nacho has finally realized his identity and calling. In this scene, the director employs fast-paced cuts to communicate action, intensity, and tension. However, what makes the scene intriguing is the synchronous montage used by the director to highlight important instances within the scene. A group of film analysts from Vienna University of Technology explain the synchronous montage and argue its significance in movie summarization and annotation. In their article, Cross-Modal Analysis of Audio-Visual Film Montage, the authors explain how automated indexing, annotation, and summarization of the movies has lacked the property of synchronous montage despite their high semantic relevance. As explained by the paper, a synchronous montage relates to the synchronicity between events in the soundtrack and the cutting of the movie, and thus bring a rich semantic dimension to the film. This Soviet propaganda film directed by Dziga Vertov, titled Enthusiasm, is a prime example of the synchronous montage. In the article, the author breaks down the scene and explains the semantic qualities of the montage. The synchronous church bells increase the perceptual salience of the sequence and create a threatening and warning atmosphere. Going back to the film of Nacho Libre, the director employs the use of synchronous montage with the non-diegetic sounds of the film's theme song. This last wrestling scene is the climax of the movie, and within the action montage, the director adds the film's theme song. He builds up the montage along with the strong moments in the song, which allows the audience to understand that Nacho's growth and journey is coming to a climax. The high action scenes in this montage correspond to the music and the song's repeating lyrics of the words "I am" throughout the scene communicate that Nacho finally understands who he is, his potential, and brings his character development to a successful fulfillment. To conclude, Jared Hess shows us montage after montage to have the audience understand Nacho's various stages of growth and development throughout the film. Each montage depicted in Nacho Libre is unique and further shows the development of Nacho's character as he tries to find out who he is and what he is capable of doing. From juxtaposition to synchronous montage, this code in the film allows the audience to easily understand what is happening with Ignacio inwardly, his self-identity, as it conflicts with the outside influences and difficulties he faces.